Good morning, everyone. I am Jermaine Davis and I am your reporter for today. So, my topic is all about the three components of stress. But first, what is stress? Stress is a common occurrence while you can't remove every single stressor from your life. It's possible to manage stress and maintain your health. This is important because stress can cause mental fatigue, irritability, and insomnia. But even if you know the physical effects of stress, you may be unaware of different stages of stress and how the body responds in these stages. It is easier to identify signs of chronic stress in yourself. What is general adaptation syndrome? GAS is the three-stage process that describes the physiological changes the body goes through when under stress. Hans Selye, a medical doctor and researcher, came up with a theory of gas. During an experiment with lab rats at McGill University in Montreal, he observed a series of physiological changes in the rats after they were exposed to stressful events. With additional research, Selye concluded that these changes were not an isolated case, but rather the typical response to stress. Selye identified these stages as alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. Understanding these different responses and how they relate to each other may help you cope with it. There are three components of stress: alarm reaction stage, resistance stage, and exhaustion stage. First is alarm reaction stage. Represents a mobilization of the body's defensive forces. The body is preparing for the fight or flight syndrome. This involves a number of hormones and chemicals excreted at high levels, as well as an increased heart rate, blood pressure, perspiration, and respiration rate, among others. When you're in the alarm stage, your nervous system is prepared to fight or flight. Your heart starts to beating faster, which provides more blood and oxygen to your arms and legs. For instance, if you're behind the driving wheel and the car in front of you suddenly came stop, you'll most likely slam on your brakes. As a result of this close call, you'll also feel your heart beating faster. Halimbawa, naglalakad ka ng gabi pauwi sa bahay, galing ka ng trabaho or galing ka ng school. Then may isang lalaking lumapit sa iyo at may hawak siyang kutsilyo. Tapos nagdademand siya ng pera. When your brain suggests the fight response, lalabanan mo yung lalaki, or let me just say kidnapper, then you will take away his knife. While sa flight response naman, ibibigay mo na lang yung pera sa kakatatakbo, kaya tatakbo ka na lang agad. In this case, your brain would probably suggest the flight response, leading your heart to beat faster and more blood to be pumped into your limbs so you can get away quicker. After the initial shock of a stressful event and having a fight or flight response, yung body ay mag-uumpisa ng mag-repair. Magre-release din siya ng lower amount of cortisol, then your heart rate and blood pressure ay mag-uumpisa na din maging normal. Although your body enters this recovery phase, magre-remains pa rin siya sa high alert sa ilang sandali. If you overcome stress and the situation is no longer an issue, your body continues to repair itself until your hormones level, heart rate, and blood pressure reach a pre-stress rate. The second is resistance stage. The body becomes adaptive to the challenge and even begins to resist it. The length of this stage of resistance is dependent upon the body's innate and stored adaptation energy reserves and upon the intensity of the stressor. Just as any machine wears out even if it has been properly maintained, the same thing happens with living organisms. Sooner or later, they become the victim of this constant wear and tear process. The acquired adaptation is lost if the individual is subject to still greater exposure to the stressor. May mga stressful situations na nagpapatuloy sa matagal na panahon, and if you don't resolve that stress and your body remains on high alert, it eventually adopts and learns how to live with a higher stress level. In this stage, the body goes through changes that you're unaware of in an attempt to cope with stress. Your body continues to secrete the stress hormone and your blood pressure remains elevated. Yung akala mo na ma-manage mo ng maayos yung stress, pero meron palang ipinapaliwanag ang physical body mo. And kung yung resistance stage ay nagtagal at hindi huminto para mabawi yung epekto ng stress, maaari na siyang humantong sa exhaustion stage. But bago tayo mag-proceed sa third stage, which is yung exhaustion stage, may mga signs ang resistance stage. Ito ay ang irritability, pagkairita, frustration at poor connection. Yung kumbaga loading lagi yung utak. At yung third stage is exhaustion stage. This stage is a result of prolonged or chronic stress. Struggling with stress for long periods can drain your physical, emotional, and mental resources to the point where your body no longer has strength to fight stress. You may give up or feels your situation is hopeless. Ito yung tipong hindi mo na kayang labanan yung stress, pwede mo na itong ikamatay kapag dumating ka sa stage na ito. Sa buhay, hindi talaga maiwasang ma-stress. Guro, estudyante, mga magulang, nararanasan yan. Lahat ng tao nakakaranas ng stress. Hindi ito biro, sobrang hirap labanan ng stress, lalo na sa mga taong mahina ang loob. Dumadating sila sa punto na nagpapakamatay na sila dahil sa sobrang stress, pagod sa buhay. But let me tell you this. Kapag may isang taong lumapit sa iyo para mag-open ng problema niya sa buhay, huwag mo siyang hayaan, huwag mong tawanan. Huwag mong sabihin na ang drama mo naman, kundi damayan mo siya at bigyan mo siya ng payo. And to those person naman na nakakaranas ng stress, try to unwind. Give yourself a time. Relax niyo sarili niyo. Punta kayo sa mga lugar kung saan mababawasan yung stress and hang out with your friends. And laging niyo tatandaan na rin na there is always God who will guide you, who will guard your heart. Tsaka, lagi kang mag-pray dahil doon mababawasan din yung stress mo sa buhay. And that's the end of my discussion. I hope you have learned a lesson. God bless.